Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the United Kingdom, and today I'm working with the lovely Hydrangea Haven stamp set. Beautiful Hydrangea themed images, super sentiments, some teeny tiny ones that coordinate with the little tags that you can buy if you get the dies as well. Yeah, fun project. And if you pop along to my Sweet Inspiration on YouTube, search for under my channel for a Sweet Inspiration, you'll find the introduction to this suite. It's in the January to June catalogue, and that comes up to the end of June, so still lots of time to play with this. And one of the things that it has in it is this beautiful mercury glass sheet that you can see in Highland Heather and Rococo Rose. Now Rococo Rose obviously is retiring in colour, but the great news is that it works really well with both Blushing Bride and also Merry Merlot, and it's super shiny, lovely, fun, and I thought it was perfect to make a kind of a see-through panel, and on the reverse you can see it's actually silver, so even if you didn't want to use or hadn't got any Rococo Rose cardstock, you could use the silver instead. So yeah, comes in a pack of, you get 2 sheets each of both colours, but it is rather lovely. She says throwing stuff on the floor. Okay, so we'll start off with our stamping. Oh, and I will mention something now. You'll see there's something to note. It comes with a plastic film on the back of it, so when you come to use it, just make sure you peel that off, otherwise it's obviously not going to stick terribly well to your project, but it just protects that kind of silvering that's on the back there. Okay, so let's get started. You're going to need a piece of basic white cardstock, and I've got a piece here, and it is, yeah, I've actually on this one I made it 11.5 by 7.5. On this one I've gone narrower because I've gone for narrow borders around the top and bottom panel. So this is actually about 11.8 by 11.7, 11.8 by 7.7, 7.8, something like that. So you just get a really nice tiny little narrow border. Because these are photopolymer stamps, you know what I'm going to say next, and that is grab your stamping pierce mat, because you'll want that. And I thought, although I love this sentiment on here, which is this, you make me smile, I thought I'd actually show you just a really nice sentiment that we've got in our Enjoy the Moment stamp set, which is this fabulous blocky happy birthday, which I thought was really useful. And what I'm actually going to do, on this one you can see I actually kind of went over the stem, so I'm actually going to do my sentiment first. There we go, and that way I can stamp my image around the sentiment. So you're going to need your big block and the big hydrangea image, and I'm just inking this up with Memento ink. Now if you wanted to, you could obviously partially ink the top in whatever colour you wanted and then the leaves in a green. So I'm just going to do this in Memento because I do find it that's a really nice finish to it. So just, you know, give a good press on that. Don't press too hard, you'll get a beautifully crisp image anyway. What you then want to do is go for some, shall I go for Merry Merlot, or shall I go for Blushing Bride? Actually, I think maybe we'll go for the Blushing Bride, actually. I kind of like the really pinky tones. So this isn't designed to be an absolute exact match. It is designed to kind of be, well, it's designed not to be dropped on top of your stamp set for a start. This is designed just to kind of go over and over stamp, so to give that kind of cloud effect, because you know what it's like when you look at a flower, you kind of get almost a shimmer of colour. So that's your Blushing Bride, and you'll see the texture in that. It's a distinctive stamp, so you've already got the texture in there. And I'm going to just grab perhaps some Old Olive. It's got both Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. My original one was Mossy Meadow, which I've just re-inked up, which is why I'm just going to use my Old Olive. And then when you're doing your photopolymer stamps, just hover over the top until you've kind of lined up that stem, which I didn't do particularly well on my previous one. But there we go, I've done a better job on that one. So there we have our image. Then we can layer that up onto our piece of Blushing Bride cardstock. Because it's a narrow border, I'm probably going to use my Tombow. That allows me a little bit of wiggle room, and obviously a little less room to sort of play with on these narrow borders. There we go. So there's our panel for the front there. So now we'll do the card construction itself. So the card itself is really simple. I always say this, you know, in my complicated ones, I don't make, they're not complicated, just a few different ways of cutting it, and I just like the fact it's a little bit different. You know, we get to do lots of cards that we can get any old place, and the nice thing about handmade cards, we can make them a little bit different. So you need a piece of card. Oh, I will do inches, I'll pop them on my blog. You need a piece of card that is 10.5 by 20.5, and you're going to score at 14.5, and then we're going to cut at 17.5. So just cutting a little strip. Okay, so that makes that 3 centimetres and that 3 centimetres. Quite simple. You'll then want 2 pieces of contrast card. I've got Merry Merlot, which are 2.8 by 10.5. And you want 2 pieces of some of the lovely paper. And I'll just show you. She says, here's the paper pack that we're using. The papers won't be available after June, so if you want the papers, make sure you get your order in soon, because they do disappear very quickly. So we've got our card, our paper. So you see I've taken this pink one here, and here are the colours. So you can see each of them have got sort of strong hydrangea sort of flowers on the front, but some lovely images on the reverse. This is probably my favourite one. I'm not as keen on these flowers. This one's a lovely one to use in a big panel, pretty background, and this is my other favourite one. As you can see, the hydrangea heads there, and I love the Highland Heather stripes on the back. So yeah, a couple there that I'd be really sorry to see go. So 12 by 12 paper to each of the designs. So where were we? Let's crack on with our card. So once we've scored our card, grab your bone folder and just reinforce that top section, and we've got our bottom section here. Now what I'm going to do is actually next add our panel of acetate. So this is 10.5 by 10.5, and we're going to use this to bridge that gap between the 2 panels. So all you want is a narrow bit of Stampin' Seal Plus on each side of that, each edge, top and bottom. So just pop that on the top and again on the bottom, and take it right up to the edge on those. Then we are going to pop that there, and then with our other panel, if you line that up with the bottom of your card, then just pop your panel down, and there you have it perfectly placed, and you've got your panel beautifully lined up. Now we can create our other 2 panels. So just popping some adhesive on the back there. Now you'll see there on that one, and I'll just to remind you, on this one it's come out quite runny, so rather than having it sort of make my card too wet, I'm just using that spatula end to spread that glue around. So if ever you get a kind of a blob, you can do that, and it just saves your card getting over wet with glue. Then those, because they're the same width, just line them up on the width, and pop in place. Our little narrow border. Same again. And again, this, using the wet glue for this gives you a little bit of time just to smooth that out and make sure that that's really nicely lined up for the top and bottom. So those can go onto our card now. Up to you entirely what sort of glue you want to use. I would recommend using our Stampin' Seal Plus again, and the reason for that is because obviously part of it will be going on top of our panel of acetate. So you want something that sticks well to acetate, and obviously our Seal Plus does exactly that. And if ever you get, you'll just see there I've gone over the edge very slightly. If ever that happens, all you need to do is just with your finger just roll those little bits over, because obviously you don't want that extra glue. And again, you can just pop that on top of the card. So we're very nearly there. I'm just going to pop, now I've actually done my inside, I'm going to pop a little bit of stamping on the inside of this. So I'm just going to take some Merry Merlot and stamp this in the corners. Really pretty image. And you can colour that in. There's actually a couple of stamps that give a background effect. So if you just stamp that over the top as well, you get kind of instant colouring. You know me, I do like a bit of quick and easy. Again, just giving that impression over the top there. Okay. So with our card on the front, again, I'm using my Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm just adding my adhesive to the top. Now you've got a reasonable overlap, so you've got space to kind of about 1.5 centimetres probably to add that. And the only reason you'll hardly see it on the inside anyway, but it just helps to create a stronger card front. And then just centre that in the middle there. And there we have a pair of pretty acetate panel cards using our mercury acetate. Stand up beautifully, nice and strong with that front on there, but to give a real sort of sparkle too. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to purchase any of the products you've seen today, click on the in the description bar, little down arrow, you'll find links to them all there, or pop along to my blog at Flutter by Heidi for the measurements and also for links to all of the products I've used. Thanks for watching. Bye now.